Shigeto, are you done with work now? Got a minute? Hurry up and reply!
I'm still working at the moment. What is it?
What?
There was some trouble at work today, so I won't make it home till late. If I don't handle this properly, I might not even get to come home at all today.
Shigeto, that's just not good enough. I bet you caused the trouble, didn't you? What did you mess up?
No, Mom. I can't give you any details because it's private work matter. But you can rest assured I'm only trying to clean up someone else's mess.
What? You clean up a mess? Lol. You mean a lazy, good-for-nothing salary thief with a worse work ethic than a pile of rocks? Is acting like a real employee and actually solving problems at work? Lol, I'll believe it when I see it.
It's the truth.
Anyway, never mind that. There's no way a failure of a human being like you could ever do anything useful at work. So stop being a burden on your poor coworkers and come home.
Just because you say that doesn't mean I can suddenly leave.
Another thing. I just want you to buy us some sushi on your way home.
Sushi? Are you celebrating something?
Miyoko's going to be living with us from today.
Huh? Miyoko?
Her divorce was finalized today.
What? This is the first I've heard of it!
It's not like I'll lose any sleep over it, though. Good grief. I mean, really? The only reason I approved the marriage to begin with is because her husband had a good salary. Apparently, Miyoko's new mother-in-law was just the worst, and she forced them to go get a divorce.
Wow, seriously?
That's why I want to treat my poor broken-hearted daughter to some sushi to make her feel better.
Oh, I see.
I can't get away from work right now. But I'll tell you what, I'll order you takeout with all of Miyako's favorites. Surely that's good enough?
No, it's not good enough!
If you do that, we'll be the ones paying. Won't you think for once before you speak, Shigeto?
Didn't I tell you a friend of mine runs the sushi restaurant by the station?
Huh?
He'll be fine. Just tell the delivery driver I'll cover the bill when I see him next.
Oh, I see. Well, in that case, I'll allow it.
Anyway, I'm heading back to work.
Good grief, Shigeto. I see you're as blunt and unsociable as ever. If not for your financial contribution to the family every now and then, you really would have absolutely no value as a human being. You could do with learning a thing or two from Miyako about being obedient towards your parents, and maybe even becoming more sociable while you're at it.
Miyoko was always yours at Dad's favorite because of her gentle, outgoing personality, huh?
Of course! She's practically a different species to you, who spent all your time growing up rotting away playing video games on that darn computer of yours.
Yeah. I get it. I'm a brainless half-man with no reason to exist besides being your personal ATM. Bye.
Good morning, big bro. How's it going? Thanks so much for the sushi last night. It was amazing. You ordered all my favorites. I heard you couldn't make it home due to some trouble at work. Is everything all right?
Hey, Miyoko. Everything's been dealt with now, so it's all good. I just took a power nap, and I'll be working until dinner time, then heading home.
I see. You really do work hard. See you later, then.
Hey, wait a second. I should be the one asking you if you're okay. I heard you got a divorce. What the hell?
Oh,
I was so shocked. I didn't know anything about it.
well, things with the mother-in-law didn't exactly go smoothly.
What about your husband, Arata? Isn't he the one that matters?
Yes, well, actually, the problem was just his mom. It's not like things were bad between us as a couple. So please, don't worry about me.
Really?
It's a conversation that will probably get pretty long-winded, so I'll tell you everything after you get home from work.
I see. Seems like you've been going through a lot.
Actually,
Hmm?
there is a little plan I was wondering if you could help us with.
What do you mean?
It's pretty serious. In fact, I think it could have a knock-on effects for you down the line.
Knock-on effects for me?
Doesn't that give it away? You might not remember, but it's something me and you discussed half seriously back in middle school.
Oh, that?
I'd rather talk about this outside.
In that case, shall we go and grab some lunch together?
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll make my way to your workplace now. There is a restaurant district not far from your company building, right?
There is, but everywhere will be packed with it being dinner time. Shall we get a private room at my friend's sushi restaurant?
Good idea. The conversation will get complicated, there's no doubt about it. So it's probably better if we have our own space. Oh, yeah. Do you mind if Arata comes?
Sure thing. I'll book a private room for 3 then, okay?
Great! Thanks, big bro. Oh, and of course, please don't mention anything about this to Mom or Dad.
Got it.
Shigeto, are you there?
Just listen to this! You'll never believe it! I'm such a lucky mother! Miyako really is the most thoughtful daughter!
Me and your dad are so blessed to have her. She's nothing like you, who ran off with your tail between your legs and abandoned the family home 2 months back.
What do you want all of a sudden? Anyway, it was you and Dad who kicked me out because you needed a room for Miyoko to stay in. Or have you conveniently forgotten that minor detail?
So get this. Miyoko is planning to buy an apartment for me and your father!
Huh?
We found the documents for an apartment in a tower block in her room. She said that she wasn't working right now, so I can only assume she intends to pay for it with the compensation she won from her ex-husband.
Wait, did you go into her room while she wasn't there?
What's wrong with that? I'm her mother, you know.
Just because you're family doesn't mean there's no such thing as privacy.
Don't be silly. There's no one who seriously cares about that kind of thing. You're just jealous, Shigeto. That girl is so precious. She does everything we expect of her, just like we raised her to. You and her couldn't be more different. Mine and your dad's parenting was a tremendous success with her.
You've got some nerve to say that after you kicked me out of the house. Not only that, but you conveniently ignore the fact that $1,500 I was putting into the family finances every month while I lived there is still going into your bank account to this day.
Well, of course it is. It's your duty to support your mother and father, you silly boy. Plus, if not for sending us that money, you'd have no value as a human being whatsoever. So you should be grateful for the opportunity. Make sure you carry on paying too. Fulfill your debt of gratitude to your parents, you ungrateful cretin.
Somehow or other, I convinced myself that sticking around and helping out around the house would be the right thing to do as the eldest son.
Whether you're here or not makes no difference to us.
I see. Anyway, that thing you said about Miyoko buying you the apartment in the high-rise? Don't you think you might be jumping to the wrong conclusion?
No, what makes you say that? Don't be silly.
Really? So you're sure?
We don't need her to come straight out with it. As her parents, we understand. After all, we raised her without nothing but love, care, and affection. It's only natural that she'd want to return the favor. We knew it was for us straight away.
Interesting. Was that all you wanted?
Yes. We'll be living like celebrities in a luxury apartment in peace and quiet without a care in the world. You, on the other hand, will be living on an economic cliff edge in a filthy, run-down apartment like the tragic little weasel boy you are. It looks like the gap between us is set to get rather wide soon. But please do your best not to hold any grudges. One more thing. If you even so much attempt to leech off us, we'll be cutting you out of our lives immediately.
Yeah. Do whatever you want. Hey, Miyoko.
Oh, big bro.
Apparently, Mom let herself into your room and found the documents for that apartment in the tower block. Is everything alright?
She did? I knew it. I had a feeling someone had been in there.
You noticed?
More or less. She has been a chronic over-interferer ever since we were little kids, so I guess nothing changed. My privacy in that house is as good as non-existent.
Sounds like things are tough for you, too.
I know what she's like, though, which is why I left those documents out for her on purpose.
What? You serious?
I thought if I left her a few breadcrumbs to follow, she'd be satisfied and not dig any further into what we're actually doing. By the way, the documents I let her find were for an apartment I'd already crossed off my to-be-considered list.
Ah, I see.
I had the documents relating to the stuff I didn't want her to find sent to Arata's workplace, so it's no problem that she found what she did. Everything's going as planned on our end. There's no need to worry.
I see. I'm pleased to hear that. But if you do ever find yourself in any kind of trouble, I want you to know that you can always rely on me.
Got it. Thanks a bunch, big bro.
Good night, sis.
Nighty-night.
Shigeto, pick up the phone! I need help.
What is it?
Miyoko's not here.
Huh?
Oh no! Whatever am I going to do? We were supposed to be moving today.
Moving?
I told you before, didn't I? We're moving into the apartment in the high-rise tower block Miyoko bought for us.
What? Are you really still talking about that?
What do you mean still talking about it? Of course I am. It's our new home, for heaven's sake.
What has Miyoko said to you about you guys moving into this apartment? What do you mean?
She said the move's today. She said she already hired the removal company and mentioned something about a van coming today.
Did she tell you where you were going?
I don't know. She said that she wasn't ready to tell me yet.
Didn't you find it strange that she wouldn't tell you your new address?
No, why would I? After finding the documents in Miyoko's room for the apartment, I just assumed she wanted to surprise me. You know how that girl loves surprising people. I thought it would be rude to dig any deeper. So I decided to leave it there, and I let her do what she needed to do. Anyway, more importantly, where on earth has she gotten to?
She's eating breakfast with me.
Huh?
She moved into the bottom floor of my apartment.
What? The bottom floor?
That's right. A completely different place to the one in the documents you found while snooping around her room.
What are you talking about? This isn't the time for jokes, son. Me and your father are moving into a luxury tower block. We're going to be VIPs, I tell you. Don't get my luxurious new home confused with your shabby, rundown apartment. They're leagues apart, lol.
I'm curious, Mom. Tell me, why, in spite of the fact I never told you my address, are you so convinced I live in a rundown apartment?
What? Isn't it obvious? You've been sending $1,500 a month back home to us since you moved out. On your salary, there's no way you could afford to live anywhere nice with outgoings that high. A cardboard box in a slum would probably be out of your price range.
Interesting. Does that mean you kicked me out of the house on the assumption I'd be forced to live a life of poverty and destitution? And on top of that, still demanded $1,500 a month?
I don't know how many times I have to tell you this, But as a failure of a human being whose only talent is wasting time playing computer games, looking after your parents is the only value you have. Whether you live in poverty or not, me and your father should be top priority.
Wow, you deserve a Mother of the Year award. Well, I guess it'll be time soon. Our plan is almost complete.
Your plan? What are you talking about?
I started an online business back when I was in university, using the coding skills I've been developing ever since I was a kid.
What? A business on the internet?
The computer you use as a pretext to treat me like a moron was actually my biggest asset all along.
What does that mean?
Basically, it means I make a lot of money. Enough to allow me to live comfortably on the top floor of a luxury high-rise tower block with spending money left over.
You make that much?
That's why sending you guys $1,500 a month was no big deal. In fact, I barely noticed it.
You're lying!
Whether you believe me or not makes no difference. Anyway, as for Miyoko, regarding the move itself, she hired a removal company that offered nighttime service so she could escape without you noticing.
What? She left in the night?
The fact that you didn't have a clue means that either the removal men are really good at what they do, or you're such a deep sleeper that you could fall out of bed without waking up. Here's some more info for you. Her and Arata got remarried after they divorced.
What?
I know you're aware of what was going on with Arata's mom and her malicious bullying toward Miyoko. But if you'd have asked, you'd have known that. As the eldest son and youngest child, Arata, just like Miyoko, was sick and tired of his mom's over-interfering attitude. And so, in a bid to escape from the clutches of the meddling tyrant, they resolved to put on a spectacular charade in which they divorced to throw her off the trail and remarry later. They also asked if I'd help them pull it off, which I did. Mom, Dad, me and Miyoko, starting today, have decided to completely cut off all contact with both of you forever.
What? Wait.
I bank transferred you $7,500 earlier today. As much as I can't stand you, I'd hate for you to struggle unnecessarily. Think of it as a goodbye consolation package. Please, use the money to forge out a life for yourselves. From then onward, stand on your own 2 feet for a change.
Please, just hold on. Don't be so brash. If you do this, we won't have anywhere to live.
What? Why?
We sold the house because we thought we were moving into Miyoko's luxury apartment block.
What?
And we used all the money up on debt repayments.
What? Wait, what? I didn't know you were in debt.
Well, we are. Please let me and your father live in your apartment with you. We'll be one big happy family. You owe us this for your parents. Right?
That's strange. I was sure I just told you. We're cutting off all ties.
But even still, surely the least you can do is send us the money, 1,500, just like you've been doing all this time. You are rich after all.
Dad's still working and bringing in money of his own. And there are tons of people your age still working normal jobs. It wouldn't be that hard to find something. If you do something about your wasteful spending habits, I have absolute faith the two of you can get by somehow or other.
Wait!
Miyoko's gonna be living with me now, and we'll always have each other's backs as brother and sister. I know you lack the conscience required to worry about us. But me and her are gonna be absolutely fine. As for you two, good luck. Goodbye forever, Mom. Apparently, the $7,500 in settlement money I sent to my parents disappeared within a few days, spent entirely on a shabby, rundown apartment, and paying off the remainder of their debts. After that, my dad stopped working. Or rather, he was dismissed after causing an incident with a coworker. There really is no helping that man. As a result, he got no severance package, and their finances hit rock bottom in the blink of an eye. With their lives filled with nothing but anxiety and despair, they soon turned against each other. Eventually, the marriage broke down and they each went to live with their parents. However, both of their families were already fully aware of the chain of events leading up to their dishonorable returns. As such, they were met with a cold reception and eventually kicked out. Having no choice but to scrape together and combine what little they had to rent an even shabbier apartment than before, they spent their days either cursing each other to oblivion or working to exhaustion. In spite of that, unable to keep up with their debt repayments, they were lost in a dark tunnel without so much as a sliver of light at the end of it. But that's hardly a surprise. Without fixing their wasteful spending habits, I doubt they have a hope in hell's chance of getting out of their predicament.